We've asked everybody here today to provide information on the investigation of 6-year-old Samuel Olson, who was reported missing to HPD on Thursday, May 27, 2021 at approximately 6 p.m. Patrol officers were dispatched to a residence in the southwest part of town where they met the father of Samuel, Dalton Olson. Also at the residence was Mr. Olson's girlfriend, Theresa Balboa. Mrs. Balboa told the officers on the scene that she was at the residence that morning at approximately 7 a.m. when she saw Samuel's mother with an unknown officer at the front of the residence. Ms. Balboa indicated that the officer told her that she would go to jail for kidnapping if she did not return Samuel to the mother. Ms. Balboa indicated that she recognized Samuel's mother because she had seen her before. Ms. Balboa told the officers that Samuel's mother and the officer left in separate vehicles. Ms. Olson told the officers that Mr. Olson told the officers that once he heard this story from Ms. Balboa, he contacted Samuel's mother and she told him that Samuel was not with her. Missing persons investigators began working this investigation and made contact with Samuel's mother. Through investigative efforts, they were provided evidence that Samuel's mother was at her residence throughout the entire morning of May 27, 2021. Investigators continued to follow up on this case, doing everything investigatively possible to find Samuel. Their investigative efforts included in part interviews with Ms. Balboa, Mr. Olson, Samuel's mother, and others. Missing persons investigators discovered inconsistencies in Ms. Balboa's statements and consulted the Homicide Division. From that point, a collaborative effort was conducted by both the Missing Persons Unit and homicide investigators. Also, Texas EquiSearch assisted in searching multiple locations. A search warrant was obtained for the residence in the 15,000 block of the Gulf Freeway. This is the residence where Ms. Balboa was living. On Monday, the search warrant was executed by investigators, and the Houston Forensic Science Center collected evidence from that location. That evidence will be processed and analyzed for its forensic value. Also, a 2012 Dodge Avenger was towed from that location to also be searched and analyzed for evidence. Yesterday, investigators were contacted by Jasper Police Department, and they were notified that they had received an anonymous tip from Crime Stoppers that led law enforcement officers to a motel in Jasper, Texas, in connection with this investigation. Jasper Police Department officers initiated contact at the motel with Ms. Balboa and eventually discovered the body of a young child. Ms. Balboa was taken into custody. At this time, we believe the child to be Samuel, but we cannot confirm that it is him until the medical examiner makes that determination. The Texas Rangers took lead on the investigation, and homicide investigators traveled to the location to continue their follow-up. At this time, the Harris County District Attorney's Office has accepted charges of tampering with evidence against Ms. Balboa. Once this case has been fully investigated, investigators will be presenting the case to the District Attorney's Office for additional charges if appropriate.
And that's the big question. How much more of an investigation, and how do you get to more serious charges? Because someone killed that 6-year-old little boy. And that's what this case ultimately is going to be about. Not there yet, but this was a huge step forward in all of that. Let's bring in our special guest joining us tonight in Dallas, Texas, former DOJ senior attorney, former federal prosecutor, and federal executive clemency attorney, Tammy Allison. Tammy, great to see you.
Good to see you, Vinny. Thank you for having me.
All right, so what do you think it's going to take for the DA to take it to the next level, to take this from tampering with evidence? I mean, you've got a dead body in a tote bag, to murder charges and holding someone responsible. And is there a chance that there could be other people involved here?
I think so. This is not the first time we've seen a situation like this, especially coming out of Houston, Texas. The case of Malia Davis back in 2019, something very similar took place. And eventually the boyfriend of Malia Davis's mother confessed to harming the child. So I do predict that something similar would happen here because of the child custody issues between the biological mother and the father of the young child here, as well as the girlfriend. It's very similar, unfortunately, and it's just a really sad situation all the way around. And I think that as the days go on, more information is going to reveal itself, especially the fact that she went to Jasper, Texas. How did she get there? A lot of, dots are going to be connected that most likely would reveal what happened to this child.
Yeah, and some story that she told to investigators that they checked out and did not believe is that Sam's mother came with someone dressed as a police officer to pick up the child, and they concluded that that never happened, that she was lying about that. Another fascinating aspect of all of this is how they got to that motel through Crime Stoppers, an anonymous tip. That means there's people out there who know more. And I'm wondering if investigators are going to be able to get them to come forward and provide that information, unless someone who made that tip is somehow involved in all of this.
At this point, who knows? But this is a young child, and hopefully, the people that do know something that did call into Crime Stoppers will speak up and speak out about this, realizing that this is a 6-year-old. I have a 6-year-old son. This is something that is unfathomable. So, for someone to have information pertaining to the death of an innocent child and to withhold it and not come forward with as much information as they have, that's extremely problematic. So, hopefully, people can understand the severity of this and the necessity of coming forward with the information that they may have as it relates to holding whoever harmed this child, resulting in his death, accountable.
Now, we had a second picture of the defendant. This is actually from 2020, November of 2020, for a different crime. But there she is back in 2020 and now back in trouble in 2021. One other thing, Tammy, it seems police are interested in speaking with Sam's father. They're not saying he's a person of interest, but would like to continue to speak with him. I think there's an obvious connection. I mean, his girlfriend is the one who's been arrested here.
Absolutely. And, with these types of cases, we see this very often where they don't necessarily name the father or the mother or the parent or the husband or wife immediately as a suspect, because they don't want them to have all of their defenses up immediately. They want them to be forthcoming with information and hopefully just tell on themselves. So hopefully with them speaking to his father will disclose